Hello, and welcome to Lekutei Sichos Chelek Yud Aleph, Parshas Teruma, Sicha Aleph. Today's Sicha is more in the realm of Teres HaChassidus, utilizing the teachings of Teres HaChassidus and Avodas Hashem in understanding a basic concept in the Torah in the Parsha of this week. So we're page 109, and we're going to speak about the three types of trumos, the three types of contributions that were given in the Mishkan, in the building of the Mishkan. Ala psukim bereish parsha seinu omer razal shalish trumas nemru b'parsha hazois trumas adonim, trumas shkalim, trumas hamishkan. In the beginning of the parsha, it says the word truma three times. V'yikchu truma, v'meis kol isha sheyidvenu liboy tikchu es trumasi. So it says that the word truma three times. So Rashi brings from Chazal that there were three types of trumas. There was the trumas hashkalim, the machtes hashekel, that was brought annually, that was used towards the karbanis tzibur. Then there was a trumas adonim, which was also a machtes hashekel, a half a shekel, that was used for the adonim, the sockets, the silver sockets that were on the base and the bottom of the Mishkan. And then there was a Trumas HaMishkan, the donations, the contributions from 13 or 15 different types of materials that were donated by the Yidden for the building of the base of the Mishkan. There's a basic difference between the Trumas HaShkalim and the other two types, the Trumas Adonim and the Trumas HaMishkan. That what? The Trumas HaShkalim was a mitzvah at that time, but it was also a mitzvah saseh for the future generations as long as the Beis Hamikdash was standing. There was a mitzvah on every Jewish man to give a half a shekel towards the karbanis tzibur. The Gemachshav is manazeh shein Beis Hamikdash kayam. Nagu kol Yisrael likrit Beis HaKnesses Parsha Shkalim b'Shabbos shelafnei Rosh Chodesh Adar lezecher HaMikdash. And even though today we don't do the machzas hashekel for the karbanos tzibur because there's no Beis Hamikdash and there's no karbanos tzibur, but we carry on this idea by reading Parsha Shkalim in the shul every year on the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh Adar. At the first day of Chodesh Adar, they would announce, when the Beis Hamikdash was standing, they would announce to remind people to bring the shkalim, and therefore on the half shkalim, and therefore on the Shabbos before Adar, we read Parsha Shkalim in the Torah. ויש אומרים שיש ליטן קודם פורים מחתס מן המטבע הקבוע באויסי מוקים ובאויסי זמן זכר למחתס השקל שנוסים באדר. And there's also an opinion, one that we follow today, that before Purim one should give half of a coin of the currency of that place in that time as a zeicher to the machzis hashekel, and that's what we do on Tainis Esther, an afternoon that we give machzis hashekel to tzedakah to remind us to remember the machzis hashekel that was given every year in Chodesh Adar prior to Chodesh Nisan. So the Trumas HaShkalim was not just a one-time thing; it was a thing that carried through the during the time the Beis Hamikdash was standing and continues to this very day, at least symbolically. Trumas Adonim, its obligation was only before the building of the Mishkan. And the general contributions towards the Mishkan, that was a one-time or a two-time thing, once before the Binyan HaMishkan, before the Mishkan was built, and once before the Beis Hamikdash was built. From the Lashon of the Rambam, he brings in the Order 7, the second paragraph, that there's a mashma. The Rambam says, "Hakol chayavin livnei u'lesaid ba'atzim u'b'mamoinam anoshim v'noshim k'migdash hamidbar," that everyone is obligated to build and to support by themselves and with their money, whether men or women, like the Mikdash, which was built in the Midbar, meaning the Mishkan. So we see from the Rambam that the Rebbe calls a Chidush Gadol, but nevertheless the Rebbe refers to it in the inside of the Sikha, that before the Binyan Beis HaMikdash, or there was also a chiyuv of everyone giving donations. But it was just a once in the Mishkan, in the Midbar, once in Yerushalayim. But generally speaking, on a daily basis, on an annual basis, the Trumas HaAdonim and the Trumas HaMishkan does not apply. But Torah is eternal in every time and every place. How they move on? The Torah is eternal, and therefore, if the Torah speaks to us about it, it's obvious to us that this way it may not apply practically the way it did in the time of the Midbar, but nevertheless, on a spiritual level and in the level of us serving Hashem, these two concepts must still exist. But more so, it's even something that is a certainty. Every aspect of Torah, every detail in Torah is applicable in some form or another, in all time, in every time and in all places. Certainly the details that were relevant to the Mishkan. The purpose of the Mishkan was that the Eibishter should rest, should dwell, the Shekhinah should dwell amongst in the world. And B'soicham it says, Chazal point out that it doesn't say B'soichoi that Hashem will rest in it, in the Mishkan, but B'soicham in them. Who is the them? Say Chazal, them refers to every single Yid. But Mele B'chol Muzman Tzarech Lahamshech B'nafshi Al David does say that this pasuk V'shechanti B'seicham refers not only to the Gilui Ashchina that took place in the Mishkan, but also to the Gilui Ashchina, the revelation of godliness, of Elokus, that every Yid, in every time and in every place, draws down into his life through serving Hashem. So since the Mishkan refers to bringing Elokus into this world and every person into their own life, so a detail that the Torah talks about with regards to the Mishkan, how they move on, the Kamesha Binyan HaMishkan Kipsutei, Haya de Trumas Adanim V'chulu, Al Derech Zeh Gam B'Mishkan HaRuchni B'Seichel Achad MiYisrael, Shenasa de Avedas Adam B'Chinas Trumas Adanim V'Mishkan. So just like the physical Mishkan needed the Trumas Adanim and the Trumas HaMishkan, the Truma for the sockets and the general donations for the Mishkan, so too in the spiritual Mishkan that every Yid builds for themselves through their Avodah, this also must include Trumas HaAdanim and Trumas HaMishkan. So what does it mean? How do Trumas HaAdanim and Trumas HaMishkan reflect themselves in Avodas Adam? So we're going to understand this by looking at their differences and learning from them how to apply that to Avodas Adam. To understand the concept of Trumas Adanim and Trumas HaMishkan and the person's Avodah, will understand by differentiating how they were given to the physical Mishkan, to the actual Mishkan. When it came to the Terumas HaAdanim, all those who gave an equal amount. When it came to the Terumas HaMishkan, to the donations to the Mishkan, each person gave according to the generosity of their heart. As the Torah tells us clearly in Parashas Vayakel, how everybody came to give different things, and each person gave what they wanted to give, or what they were able to give, or what they could give, but there was no specific amount, or there was no specific material, or a specific need, like the Machzah Shekel was silver. The Terumas HaMishkan, there was gold, there was silver, there was copper, there was wool, there was all different types of things. The Dugmas from Ba'avedas Ha'adam Yeshleima L'Cha'era. So let us apply that to Avedas Adam. Trumas Adanim refers to serving Hashem with bittul and Kabbalah Soil. Bittul literally will say means submission. Kabbalah Soil literally translates as accepting the yoke, which in general, in the terminology of Chassidus, bittul and Kabbalah Soil refers to the person doing the basics that are demanded of him or her, and accepting that the yoke of Hashem, accepting that the Eibishter wants certain things from them. This, he says, this, where does a person generate a bittul? Where does a person generate this type of submission to Hashem? That regardless of what it is, regardless of whether he understands it or not, regardless of whether he engaged the rest of his koiches the immediate acceptance and submission, this comes from the Etzem and Neshama. Now, when it comes to Etzem and Neshama, everyone has an Etzem and Neshama. Every Yid has a Neshama and has an Etzem and Neshama. And therefore, as we'll say in a moment, there's a certain sense of equality when it comes to the Etzem and Neshama. And by Teruma Sa'adanim, the amount that everyone gave was an equal amount. When we talk about the Teruma to the general building of the Mishkan, this refers to the person's Avodah with his individual kaiches, with his seichel, his intellect, and his midas, his emotions, his feelings. The individual kaiches of a person depends on the individual person and the state that he's in. You can't compare nidvas alev, which literally means the generosity of the heart. But here he's explaining it, the transformation and the refinement of one's midas through working with his heart and mind. So you can't compare one person's level of refinement and transformation to someone else. Everybody has a different types of emotions and different types of feelings and a different type of investment into the transformation and refinement of their midas. Sorry. And therefore, everyone is coming from a different place. So there's no sense of equality when you're talking about a person's individual expressions of their seichel u'midas. So in bitul, which is coming from the Etzem and Neshama, there's a certain sense of equality. Avodah b'keiches pratiyim, we're serving Hashem with my individual strengths. Each person is unique. This explains why the Teruma, that the donation in an equal amount that was used for the Adonim, the sockets, the silver sockets that were on beneath the Krushim, beneath the boards, that the Krushim were placed into, for them to hold them up, to hold up the Krushim. So that was what was used, the Teruma Adonim, the Teruma that was of an equal amount went to the Adonim. But the Yiriyos are the coverings that cover the Mishkan. And the rest of the Kalei Mishkan, the rest of the vessels of the Mishkan, they were created, they came from the Teruma that was dependent on the optional generous amount of each person's heart. So it's consistent. Ki Adonim, the sockets, though they are the bottom, the lowest rung, the lowest level in the Mishkan, at the same time, they're the foundation of the Mishkan. Upon them stand the Krushim, the boards of the Mishkan, the walls. So the parallel to that in a person's avodah is a level of Kabbalah Soil. Kabbalah Soil, he's going to say like this: in a revealed way, you do not see the manifestation of the Eir Eliki, of the godly light in the Kabbalah Soil. As it is manifested, as it is felt in the person's avodah of his me'ach v'lev. In other words, when a person utilizes his own individual kaiches, his heart and his mind to serve Hashem, this generates passion, it generates excitement, it generates a feeling, and it is internalized with the person. When it is internalized in the person, he could feel the Gilui Eir Eliki, the revelation of the godly light as it's permeating his kaiches. But the Kabbalah Soil is a very basic fulfillment. It's a very basic. It doesn't have passion necessarily. It doesn't have excitement. It doesn't have enthusiasm, and therefore it feels empty. It's just like dry action. And therefore, you can't say that you feel the Eir Eliki in it because it's basic. It's very simple. But nevertheless, the Kabbalah Soil is the foundation and the beginning of all Avodah. You can't start the Avodah. You can't engage your kaiches, your passion, your excitement, before you have a basic acceptance and submission. In certain places in Chassidus, it says that Kabbalah Soil is the key, which opens up the locks, which opens up the doors to the Heichalos, to the upper chambers in Shamayim. In order for the person to get in to serve Hashem with his keiches, he needs to first open the door. Yeah, it has to be a basic acceptance and connection, which is Kabbalah Soil. So I'm sorry if I elaborated too much, but in short, Kabbalah Soil doesn't necessarily have the revelation of the Eir Eliki, but nevertheless it is the foundation of the Avodah. V'lachin hayukol b'nei Yisrael shavim b'terumas ha'adanim hainu b'inyin ha'yisoidi v'aklali shel Kabbalah Soil u'bitul ha'mushas b'etzem ha'neshama. Therefore, all the Yidden gave an equal amount when it came to Terumas ha'adanim, because since this is fundamental, therefore it comes from the etzem ha'neshama. Umitzad etzem nishmeiseihem harei nasim yisvavechad l'kulana. Because this doesn't engage the person's individual keiches. Where is it coming from? It's coming from his essence, from the deepest, primal most point on a spiritual level of the person's neshama. And mitzad etzem and neshama, everyone is equal, with one father to everyone, meaning to say we all came from the same place, and therefore there's a sense of equality, which is why everyone gave the same amount. But conversely, the other parts of the Mishkan, namely, specifically the krashim, the boards, and the yeriyos, the curtains or the rugs that covered the Mishkan, which in the person's nefesh. This represents serving the Eibush there with his individual keiches, the keiches that are unique to me, to the individual person. The krashim that were 10 amas tall. Refer to the person's 10 keiches. Chachma bin Nadas, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, etc., which are the person's internal keiches. The keiches makifim shaleim rumazim b'yiriyah shayu ala mishkim alamayla. The keiches makifim, he doesn't explicitly say it over here, but keiches makifim generally are referred to as ratzon and tainug, the person's ratzon, the person's will, and the person's tainug, things the person enjoys. Sometimes you find a person that does something that makes no sense. You don't understand why they're doing it, but it has a ratzon for it, he has a taiva for it. So it's higher than seichel, and sometimes lower than. Sometimes it's l'matom and seichel, but generally it's okay. You say it's higher than seichel. It's beyond seichel. Therefore, it's called keiches makifim. It's not the internal keiches like seichel and midis. It's keiches makifim. It's keiches that encompass the person, that are higher than his seichel and his midis, and that's why it says ein lecha davar ein b'fnei ratzon. Nothing stands in the way of ratzon, because ratzon, in a certain sense, is much more powerful than seichel and midis. So the keiches makifim are merumas in the yeriyos that were makif, that surrounded and encompassed the Mishkan. And since one person's ratzon, seichel, and midis are not in any way similar to the next person's, how they move on shefres because they so it's obvious that this also applies to the way the person serves Hashem. Based on the levels of his keiches, that one person serving Hashem is very different than the other person serving Hashem. And therefore, when it came to the Teruma, for the other halakim of the Mishkan, there was no equal amount, there was no set amount. Everybody did whatever they could do. So far, so good. Terumas ha'adanim represents Bittul and Kabbalah Soil, therefore it came in an equal amount. And Terumas ha'mishkan represents the Aveda b'keiches pratiyim, the person's Aveda in his individual style, in his individual way, and therefore everybody is different, and therefore there was no set amount. But in Eis Gimel, he's going to bring up the idea that there is a detail here that we glossed over, that's going to raise a question on the consistency of this comparison. But we have to understand, there was another difference between these two, Terumas ha'adanim and Terumas ha'mishkan. Terumas ha'adanim machzas ha'shekel netzchai v'rak ha'anashim v'lei nashim v'davka mi ben esrim v'l'mayla v'lei pachis. Terumas ha'adanim, the machzas ha'shekel was an obligation only for males and only for adults over the age of 20. Aval b'Terumas ha'mishkan ishtatu ben anashim v'ben nashim, when it came to the Terumas ha'mishkan, This was something that was given both to men and women. It says that the men came secondary to the women. The women were much more eager to give the Teruma Mishkan. Even the Ketanim under the age of 13 also brought to the Mishkan as it's brought in Avos to Reb Nosson. So now comes the question. Now it should have been just the opposite. Kabbalas oil, which we said was Teruma Sa'adanim, and we said that you gave an equal amount because it's coming from Etzem and Neshama, and Etzem and Neshama, everybody's equal. So if it's all equal, then it should have included all ages and all genders. And instead we see that it only included the adult males. Mashenkin aved mesuderes bekoiches pnimiyim umakifim tlumas hamishkan sheikin inyan lo yitachna lo begadol unchulu beish shekeches vapnimiyim mishleimus ubedarga masim mislaved pnimis. And conversely, in order to truly serve Hashem in a mature, systematic, organized usage of the person's keiches, for that you need someone whose keiches are b'shleimus, which in Chassidus he uses the term ish for that. The ish, an adult male, represents someone whose keiches are complete. Only he can serve Hashem fully and properly with his keiches pnimiyim. So in that case, the Terumas HaMishkan that represents keiches pnimiyim should have been unique to only males, and not included the Nashim and the Ketanim. In the second question, by the Machzas HaShekel, it says that the rich person should not increase on a half a shekel, and the poor person should not decrease on a half a shekel. There is an opinion that this pasuk is referring to the Teruma of the Adonim. In other words, there's another opinion he brings earlier in the artist. One of the artists, there's an opinion that says that this pasuk was referring to Terumas Hashkalim, which we said earlier went to the Karbanas Tzibur. But there's another opinion, which in this order he brings from the Gemara and Yerushalmi, that this pasuk Ha'ashir LaYarva V'Adal Yamit was referring to the Terumas Ha'adonim. Now, Shehefer has been Ashir V'Dal B'Ruchnis, who K'mayim Azal in Aniyel B'Das. The differentiation between an Ashir and a Dal on a spiritual level is talking about Das, that an Ashir is someone who is rich in knowledge, and a Dal, a poor person, is someone who is lacking in knowledge. V'im kein, ma'u hatam, she'achiluk shemitzad keiches ha'pnimiyim, hizkira ha'teira, afilu im b'derech shlila, dafke gabi Terumas ha'adanim, kabbalas oil, shemitzad etzem ha'neshama. So the difference of an Asher and an Ani is coming from keiches pnimiyim. Mitzad kabbalas oil, mitzad etzem ha'neshama, they're equal. Where is there a difference in their das? Das is part of keiches pnimiyim. So the question that we're asking now is, even though we're excluding that difference, we're saying that neither of them should change the number, the amount, but even to bring them up as different entities, Asher and Ani, in the Keiches Pnimiyim, there's no in the Keiches Pnimiyim, that's where the difference exists. In the Terumas Ha'adanim, which is coming from the Etzem and Neshama, this difference doesn't exist. So why even bring it up? All it should have said is that everyone should bring an equal amount. Why does he even bring up the Asher and the Dal? Why does he even bring up the differentiation of the two, which is not applicable to Terumas Ha'adanim? In Terumas Ha'adanim, we don't know the difference between anyone. We only see the equality in everyone. So even though he's bringing it up to exclude it, but why even bring it up in the first place? Why even bring up a difference between the two types of people that are totally not applicable in Terumas Ha'adanim? Now, before we get to the answer, we're going to find a parallel between Terumas Ha'adanim, which we said is Kabbalas oil, and Terumas HaMishkan, which we said was Avodah B'Keiches Pratim. How is that applied practically in the person's daily life? And we're going to see these differences consistent in in the person's daily life, and the question will remain. And then later, on Ayis Daled, we're going to answer it all. So let's understand this first by explaining the person's order, the person's Seder Hayom, the order of his day, which is Asiyas HaMishkan HaRuchni Sheb'teich Kol Echad Ve'echad V'Hakamase, which is the building and the erecting of the spiritual Mishkan within each and every Yid. Avedus Hayom maschila b'mei da'ani she'omer miyad kishener mishnasei kedon til zedayim k'shadayin tuma shiruyolav. The person's day begins when he says mei da'ani, which he says as soon as he wakes up, before he washes netilas yadayim, when the tumah is still on his fingers. How could he say mei da'ani when the tumah is still on his fingers? So the basic thing that it says in Shulchan Aruch is that the Yosef doesn't have Hashem's name in mei da'ani, so it's okay to say it without nagel vaser. But he brings in the ha'ara. Now, what does it mean that there's no Shem Hashem, there's no name of Hashem in Mei Da'ani? It means to say that when he says Mei Da'ani, he's not reaching the level of Elokus that is manifest in a name. He's reaching Atzmus that is beyond the name of Hashem. Similar to the Megillah, where we say Hashem's name is not mentioned in the Megillah because it came from such a high level that it is beyond expression in the name of Hashem. So in the words of the Sikha, Mei Da'ani is an expression of thanks, of admission, and of acceptance that comes from the Etzem and Neshama. The Neshama is so spiritual and so pure that Tumah can't even affect it there. And therefore, Mei Da'ani is something that is applicable to every single Yid, man, woman, or child. So that's step number one of the day, Mei Da'ani, which comes from the Etzem and Neshama. Once you pass the Heidah, the acceptance, the admission of the existence of Hashem and Hashem giving us our neshama, begins the Aveda Pnimis, begins a more internal, a more transformative Aveda of Krishma with Tefillah. You has to be achana. Therefore, first you have Psukkah Zimna and Birchas Krishma, which is the achana to the Aveda of Krishma with Tefillah. And then you have Avodah of Krishma and Tefillah, which is a transformative Avodah, which at the time of the person changes his Ava, that it should be an Ava to Hashem. He changes himself, that he should serve Hashem with all of his koiches. And then the day continues. Person should always learn something after davening, even if he has to go to work. He should stop before work for the limud HaTorah. And then after he finishes learning, he goes to his daily job, to his daily work, to serve Hashem, which comes in a way of bringing into derech eretz, bringing into the way of the world, bringing into his daily life, bringing in alakus, bringing in holiness. So now we have Mei Da'ani, Krishma Tefillah, and Torah, and the rest of the day. Harei, just like we found a dichotomy in Teruma Adonim, that on the one hand there's a sense of equality, but on the other hand it's unique to males. And by the Teruma Mishkan, that it is on the one hand it is included for everyone. But at the same time we're saying that you need to have Keiches Pnimiyim, which generally are associated with Anashim Gedolim, adult males. Also, in Krishma Tefillah, we find opposites. The chiyuv of Krishma Tefillah. The mitzvah of Kriyas Shema, mitzvah Shasman Grama. And Tefillah, he brings in the order that even though Tefillah in general is a mitzvah on women, but the Tefillah, the way we have it 3 times a day, the daven shachris in this nusach, is not a mitzvah on noshim, not on taf either, because they're not before barabas mitzvah. So Krishma Tefillah is applicable just to men. Which is understood from this, that this is primarily Avodah that comes from the Keiches Pnimiyim of the person, the internal Keiches of the person, which we said earlier is something that is more associated with the adult male. Everybody who is davening is all saying Shema and saying Shmeina Esrei in the same nusach. Implying that this is an Avodah that is connected with a level where everyone is equal, which is Etzem Neshama. So you have a dichotomy. On the one hand, you have the fact that for davening you need Keiches Pnimiyim, which is only for adult males, and therefore Krishma Tefillah is Taka Chiyuv only on Anoshim. On the other hand, you find the fact that the sense of equality, that everyone is davening in the same nusach, implying that there's a sense of equality which comes from Etzem Neshama. ודוגמא של עניונים ההפוכים הנ"ל בקרישמות תפילה, ישנה גם בלימוד התורה וקיום המצוות, וגם בעבודה של כל היום כולו בכל דרכיך דאיו. And this dichotomy we find as well in Krishmut Tefillah and in Limud HaTorah. Just like we found it in Krishmut Tefillah, we find it also in Limud HaTorah and in Kiyum HaMitzvahs and in the Aveda of the rest of the day, b'chol derechecha de'eyu, of bringing alakus, ruchnius, into the daily life. But they're in the opposite sense. The dichotomy is the other way. Vice versa. The mitzvah of learning Torah is on every single yid. Even nashim are chayav to learn at least the halachas that are applicable to them. Even though you're going to say that the chiyuv of learning on the nashim is not so much as limud HaTorah, but more to know how to properly do the mitzvahs that are obligatory to them. Since they're making a bracha of birchas HaTorah on this learning, obviously there is a sense, there is an element of mitzvahs limud HaTorah, of Talmud Torah in it. So we see that women are mechuyev in Torah as well, but limud HaTorah as well. The mitzvah on a father to teach his son Torah even before bar mitzvah. So he calls a muchach shnina Talmud Torah. Yesh leishayches lemadrege b'nefesh adam shbamishtabim kol echad achas b'nei Yisrael. So the fact that everyone, men, women, and children, are mechuyev in learning Torah implies that Talmud Torah comes from a level where all Yidden have a sense of equality, which we said earlier was Etzem Neshama. When it comes to the style of learning, both in quantity and in quality, is not the same by each person. Yes, there are those who have an obligation to sit and learn Torah day and night, and not just to learn Torah, the girsa in a quick way, but to learn Torah in a deep and to delve into it. But a person who goes to work, he learns less. Less than all day and all night, not always so deep. And the lowest level, there are those who fulfill their obligation with saying one pasuk in the morning and one pasuk in the evening. Women are chuyev to learn only the halachas that are necessary to them, and only until they know them. And I might add that in some of the sichos that other sichos that Rebbe brings, that learning Chassidus is included in halachas hatzrichis, because learning Chassidus, it changes the person and brings them closer to Hashem and to service of Hashem, and therefore learning Chassidus is included in halachas hatzrichis. But that's a digression. So, but nevertheless, there is a basic qualification for what the nashim have to learn. So we see that even though we're saying that there's a certain sense of equality that everyone is mechuyev in limud HaTorah, but the style of learning and how much they have to learn and how deep they have to learn is different in each person. The rest of the day when a person is involved in mitzvahs and in bringing godliness into his day. In general, this is an obligation on every person. But there's many differentiations, many variations to how this is fulfilled. Men are obligated in all mitzvahs aseh and all mitzvahs leisaseh. Women are not obligated in mitzvahs aseh, the mitzvahs that are time-based. And similarly, when it comes to serving Hashem in your daily work, in the things you go about during your day to bring the knowledge of Hashem into them, there's many various ways and styles dependent on the person's situation, dependent on the person's job or what he's involved in. Each person uses a different method, a different way to bring godliness into his life. So based on this comes out the Teruma and the Teruma of the Klolos HaMishkan in Bedugmas Aveda the Krishma Tefillah of Aveda Talmud Torah are parallel, are similar to the Aveda of Krishma Tefillah and the Aveda of Talmud Torah and the work of the rest of the day. Teruma Sa'adonim in Bedugmas Aveda the Krishma Tefillah Shenash Muktanim Pturim Mena. Teruma Sa'adonim is like the Aveda of Krishma Tefillah that women and children are not obligated in it. But those who are obligated in davening and saying Krishma do so in the same nusach. Similar to the Teruma Sa'adonim, which was an obligation only on the Gedolim. But nevertheless, but all those who are obligated in it gave the same amount, which was machzah shekel, and the nedava to the klolos hamishkan is similar to the aveda of learning and bringing godliness into the rest of your day. That on the one hand, that everybody is obligated in it, so there's a sense of equality in the fact that everyone does it. But nevertheless, but each person's fulfillment of this is done differently. So the bottom line is that while we understand the difference between Adonim and Mishkan, that Teruma Sa'adonim is a Krishma Tefillah, and the Teruma Mishkan is Limud HaTorah, Kiyum HaMitzvahs, and Aveda of Kol HaYom, we still have to understand in both of these, well, how does this dichotomy work? In Teruma Sa'adonim, on the one hand, everyone gives the same amount, but it's only Anoshim. Sorry. Terumas HaMishkan, everybody gives their own amount. So by everyone giving amount means that it's unique. There isn't a sense of equality, but at the same time, everyone gets to do it, not just Anoshim. Similarly, in Krishma Tefillah, we say the same nusach for everybody, but only Anoshim are mechuyev in it. And Terumas HaMishkan, everybody is mechuyev in it, and yet there's no equality to it. Everyone does it their own way. So we have to understand the how and why that is. So to explain this like this, and in this, what we're going to do now is we're going to shift away from saying that Krishma Tefillah is Keiches Pnimiyim, and we're going to say that Aveda of Krishma Tefillah is a fusion of both Aveda of Keiches Pnimiyim, but with the impression of the Kabbalas oil that came from Meidani earlier on. And this is going to answer the dichotomy because Krishma Tefillah is going to contain both elements. Both the element of Keiches Pratiyim, which is unique to individuals, and the element of Kabbalas oil, which is the equality amongst everyone. Aveda de Krishma Tefillah the Aveda of Krishma Tefillah is, like we said earlier, to daven to Hashem, you have to involve you have to involve your heart and your mind, your excitement, your passion, your involvement. You have to transform yourself to be able to serve Hashem properly in Krishma Tefillah. But because Krishma Tefillah is coming following, and because of the saying of Meidani earlier, which is the Hido, Bittul Mitadetzim and Neshama, which Meidani, as we said earlier, is the admission and the submission, which comes from the Etzem HaNeshama, the acceptance and the submission, which comes from the Etzem HaNeshama. Lachein nirgis bitul zeh v'eidah zu gam b'aveidah dekrishma utfila. This bitul of Meida Ani is felt, it's carried in to the Aved of Krishma Tefillah. Hainu sheba Aved the Keches Pnimiyim murgash ki yisei dosa b'bchinis bittul v'kabbalas el shemitzat etzem neshama. In the Aved of the Keches Pnimiyim, the Aved of the personalized, individualized Keches of Krishma Tefillah, there is a manifestation. There is a feeling that it originates. It's based upon the bittul of Kabbalas el that comes from etzem neshama. This explains the dichotomy. On the one hand, this Aveda is applicable to Anashim Gedolim. Because by Anashim Gedolim, they represent the type of person that is Keiches Pnimiyim are in a sense of maturity, in a sense of completion, and therefore properly prepared for this Aveda. But since even in their Keiches Pnimiyim, which generally are individualized to the person, but there is a feeling of the Bittul and the Kabbalas Oil, which comes from the Etzem and Neshama, and the Etzem and Neshama Kulon Masimeis, everyone is equal. Lachein kama nusach the Krishma Utfila hamarames the Yisayda Shel Aveda Zu hi be'efen hashave u'mashves kulam. Therefore, the nusach, which the nusach represents the foundation of the Aveda, in other words, how you touch the words and how you make the words meaningful to yourself, that is individual to each person. But saying the words, that's the foundation of the Aved of Krishma Tefillah, and therefore the words is in a way that equalizes or that makes everybody equal. Now we understand why the pasuk brings in the words Asher Layarba Vadal Yamit, and he differentiates between an Asher and a Dal. Earlier we asked if we're talking about Bittul and Kabbalas Oil. So we said that's a Neshama. Why even bring up Asher and Dal? Asher and Dal is based on Keiches Pnimiyim or Keiches Pratim. But now it makes sense. Because we're talking about Krishma Tefillah, which do engage the Keiches Pnimiyim and Me'ech V'lev. And in Keiches Pnimiyim, there clearly is a difference between Asher and Dal. And Asher is someone who has generated his Keiches Pnimiyim to a high level that his das is enhanced, and therefore his Keiches are on a higher level. The Dal is someone who has a very minimal amount of das, and therefore his Keiches Pnimiyim are on a much lower level. And therefore, you can't compare one person's Krishma Tefillah to another person's Krishma Tefillah. And therefore, if you were to look at each individual Yid, you would not see the Etzem HaNeshama in it, because its main expression, its main experience is utilizing the Keiches Pratim, and therefore there is an Asher and a Dal. Adrabah, Mashanidahu Eser Geda, a shekel is 20 Geda, so a half a shekel is 10 Geda. 10 Geda, Remus Eser Keiches Pnimiyim. What you see initially when you look at the person who's engaging in Aved of Krishma Tefillah, you see how he's utilizing his Keiches Pnimiyim, his 10 Keiches, to daven and to learn, to daven and to say Krishma. But if you bring everyone together, and you look at all of the people engaged in davening or saying Krishma at once, when you look at the foundation of the Aveda that unites them and brings them all together, kulam shavim b'trumasam. They all have a sense of equality one to another. So yes, they're using the Keiches Pnimiyim, but in a way that they're also engaging their bittul, which comes from the Etzem and Neshama. And there is a Dal. But it's Leyar B'V'Leyamid, they're doing the same amount, because when you look at them together, the Asher and the Dal and everyone else together, what you see in them is what unites them, which is their Etzem and Neshama and their Bittul. So what's the downside? Very good. You have Kabbalah Soil. You have a person's Keches Pratim involved in his Krishma Tefillah. What's the downside? No, mikivan shal kaponim avei the goof of the Krishma Tefillah Teruma sa'adanim. U'masha odom peil beyatzma the keches v'apnimiyim. But nevertheless, what is it? The Krishma Tefillah, yes, there is an influence of the bittul, which bittul is the tchila sa'aveda. But what is the person takes it to the next level with his keches pratim? He engages his mind, his heart, his experiences, his strengths, and he engages them in davening and in saying Kriya Shema. But it's his individualized keches. How they move on Shaved Mugbelasi, Ubemele Gam Ha'ere Lekia Nishachadeh Dasi Bagbala. So, but like the problem that we always come up when a person engages in his own Aveda, yes, it's personal, and yes, it's internal, and therefore very meaningful to the individual, but it's limited. It can only go as far as his keches go. And therefore, the Eir Liki that's drawn in through his Aveda is limited to the amount of Aveda that he did based on his keches. וזהו מה שהסדר דקרישמה ותפילה מוגדרו בנוסח קבוע במספר מדויק של הפרשיות והברachos, הטייבס והאיסיוס ופרטי הדינים בדקדוקים וכו'. And this is why the seder of Krishma Tefillah is very structured with a specific nusach and a number of parshiyas and the words. Everything is structured in an exact way, because at the end of the day, as much as the person has the freedom, so to speak, the independence to engage his keches, but he's a limited individual, and therefore it can only go that far. It can only go as far as his keches go. That's how far he can reach, and therefore that's how far the Eir Liki that comes down because of his avodah. And in the second half of this keta here, of this piece, he actually goes through the process. This is what we see is the Seder of Aveda Pnimis. First you have Shema Yisrael. Shema means hear, but it means to understand. Shulash Navana Vasaga. Hainu li izbeinin begadlus avaya. V'lo v'yal yedei zeh. So first you have the Hizbonenus. First you have to have the contemplation. Use your mind to comprehend and grasp and contemplate the greatness of Hashem. V'lo v'yal yedei zeh v'yavtas avaya lekecha. And that's how you reach V'ahavtas Hashem alekecha shetis'oider b'libo yavasi v'yirasa yizbarach, to awaken within his heart a love and a fear or awe to the Eibishter. And through engaging his heart and his mind in this Aveda of Krishna, because he's using his mind to understand, to grasp, and to comprehend the greatness of Hashem. So he's connecting his mind, his Chachma, with the Chachma of Hashem. And because he's using this to come to an Ava, therefore he connects Avose. He connects his love with the light of Hashem that gets drawn down into Sfiras HaChesed, which Ava is from Chesed. He's connecting his Ava with a Lakus as a Lakus comes down into the specific Midas, whether it's Chesed, whether it's Gvura. In each one there is a manifestation of an Eir Liki, and the person is connecting his Midas with the Eir Liki that are in those Midas. So in the person there's the seichel, there's the midas. So he's engaging in each specific midah in order to elevate it, to transform it, and to connect it with a lukus. So it comes back to him is the Eir Liki in each individual midah, in each individual sfira. But he can't reach Atzmos. He can't draw down Atzmos. Even with all of his Keiches Pnimiyim, as much as he's engaging his heart and his mind in serving Hashem, he can only reach the parallel to that, which is the Eibishter's Chachma and the Eibishter's the way it comes down into the Sfiras Pratis. But he cannot reach Atzmos or draw down Atzmos into his life. So, Krishma Tefillah, utilizing your Keiches Pnimiyim, and therefore it is only applicable to Anashim G'daylim, but it's coming on the foundation of the Kabbalah's oil of Moidani, and therefore there is a sense of equality, which is why the Nusach is the same. And also, although there is a differentiation between Ashir and Dal, but nevertheless, in practicality, we don't allow it to express itself because we want to recognize the origin of it, which is the bittul in the Kabbalah Seil, what is coming from the Etzem and Neshama. Nevertheless, there is still a limitation to what he could accomplish, so because he's gauging in his personal kaiches, he can only reach the level of a lakus that is parallel to the Aveda that he did. But he can go beyond that, and he certainly cannot bring down Atzmusa Yizbarach. Then let's continue in the day. The day continues. So he said Maidani, he davened Krishma Tfilah, after the Aveda of Krishma Tfilah, now comes the Aveda of learning Torah, doing mitzvahs, and then the work of the day, to know Hashem in all of your ways, to bring godliness into everything that you engage in during the day. And the purpose of it is to make a dwelling place for Hashem in this world. And this level, we are going to bring down Atzmus into this world in their current state of this world as the Tachtonim. We'll explain this in a moment. And the person's Aveda during the day, which is the main time, even more than during learning, when the person is engaged in his material, mundane matters. This is the main time to make a dira leizbarach v'tachteinim. Ein ba'agbalis. There is no limitations. There's no conditions. In which style, which business, in which job, in which thing a person is involved in to make a dira b'tachteinim. Ki inyana she'atachteinim k'mei she'im b'mitziyusam ye'asu dira leizbarach. The idea is that the tachteinim, the very material, physical matters down here in this world, as they are in their current state, should be a dwelling place for Hashem. By being involved in them l'shem shamayim. And an even higher level is b'chol derech echad de'eyu. In other sichos, the Rabbi explains that the kol masach hayu l'shem shamayim refers to the fact that you're doing your own things, still mundane matters, but it's l'shem shamayim. The kavana of it is that you're doing it for the sake of shamayim, for the sake of the Eibishter. B'chol derech echad de'eyu is a higher level, that it's not just you're doing a mundane thing with the proper intention. You're actually transforming the things that you're doing, that they become filled with the das of Hashem, with the knowledge of Hashem. That it becomes not anymore a mundane thing. It's a mundane thing that is imbued with godliness. So Kol Masach Yerushalayim is one level, and Kol Derech Echad is a higher level. So Remela, the whole idea is that through these two levels, you are engaging the Tachtoinim, that they themselves should be a dira for the Eibishter. Obviously, this can't be limited just to Anashim. This is applicable to every single Yid, men, women, and children. Because it's practical, it's action. Deed, koiches, pratiyim, koiches, pnimiyim, you could say, you have to be on a higher level to do so, or on a unique level to do so. But action, to do something that everyone can do. Still, you have to have nidvas leiv, the generosity of the heart. You have to do it enthusiastically. You have to do it with passion. Because if you don't do it like that, if it's dry, it's not going to accomplish anything. But really, but more importantly, is that there's an action. There's something being done, and in action, there's no limitations or conditions. Who can do the action? So now we understand that when we talk about Terumas HaMishkan, this is what anyone can do, because when it comes to Dira B'Tachteinim is something that is engaging the Tachten in its current state. It doesn't mind how much of a Tachten it is, and it's an union of a Maisa. It's action, which Maisa is the lowest of all the levels of the Levushim, and therefore anyone can be involved in it. The Mishkan was made up of 13 or 15 different Gashmisdika things, which came from the general donation to the Mishkan. V'hainu kenal shal dei avedas kol echad v'achas b'nei v'gashmim al pitera harayu mamshich atzmusi yisbarach l'mata b'tachtenim, that each and every person, while engaging in Yanim Gashmim, in his material matters, his personal matters, if it's being done al pitera, you could bring down the atzmus into this world. So you started off. You know what? Let's do two more time, and then we'll summarize. So yes, we're saying that everybody can engage in diri b'tachtenim, and diri b'tachtenim can bring down atzmas into this world, but it needs to be prefaced by the avodah of Teruma Sa'adanim. We said earlier, Teruma Sa'adanim is the yesod, is the foundation. First, you have to have those who are ben esrim, the adults above the age of 20, to do the avodah of Teruma Sa'adanim. Meaning to say, to do the avodah of the keiches pnimiyim. Ki dafka avidasam zu b'keiches pnimiyim shalahem, when they engage in their personalized keiches, kifishim, you said this, bittul v'kabbalas oil, based on the bittul and the kabbalas oil, the submission and the acceptance that comes from Etzem HaNeshama, he hanoisenes koyach v'yechilus ha'kolach v'echad v'hamshich atzmusi yizbarech l'mata de'aveda d'trumas ha'mishkan. This gives the strength and the ability to each person to draw down the atzmusi yizbarech, the essence of Hashem, into this world through the aveda of Trumas HaMishkan. Ukmei ba'avedas kol yom v'yom shadavka la'achri akvedas krishmo tefillah shel agdelim b'Yisrael, yes, b'koyach kolechad v'achas b'Yisrael, lases dirle yizbarach masha kol yom kanal, and this we see also in the daily aveda, that when do we engage in diri b'tachtenim? After davening. After those who davened did the aveda of krishmo tefillah, then everybody goes to their daily routine to be able to do the diri b'tachtenim. So we started out with Bittul and Kabbalah Sel that came from Atzmos. This created a sense of equality that brought everyone together. But when we came to Krishma Tefillah, although everyone was together in the same nusach, but nevertheless each person engaged in their own personal avodah, based on their keiches pratiyim, and therefore there was a unique group of people, so to speak, that were giving the Teruma Sa'adanim, because they were the ones who are able to utilize their keiches pnimiyim in the proper way. So they started with equality, Meidani, Kabbalas Oil, Bittul, Etzem HaNeshama, but they used that to be able to continue in their aveda of Krishma Tefillah. But then once they brought down this Kabbalas Oil into a personal way, into their personal lives, then that gives the koyach for everyone else to engage in Limudat Torah, in Kiyum HaMitzvahs, and the Aveda of Diri B'Tachtenim. And while the Anoshim Gedolim could not bring down Atzmos because their Aveda is limited to their keiches, once they and everyone else engages in the Aveda of Diri B'Tachtenim, that can draw down Atzmos. Because you're back to the equality of the Etzem HaNeshama, where everybody is equal, and the Etzem HaNeshama could draw down Atzmos into this world. Now, in the Avodah of the Mishkan, where do we see Moedani? Trumas Ha'adanim is Krishma Tefillah. Trumas HaMishkan is the Avodah of Limudat Torah and the Avodah of Diri B'Tachtenim. Where do we see in the building of the Mishkan the Avodah of Moedani and the Bittul and Kabbalah Sel from the Etzem HaNeshama? So that he answers in Oisches. V'hinei, k'meish b'seder, Avodah Sayem Lases Mishkan Lo Yizbarach. Hine Yayiseid v'agdam yamiris Meidani shu habitul v'kabbalas sel shemiz adetzem HaNeshama. Just like we said in the Seder Hayom, in the order of the person's day, in order to make himself into a mishkan, a dwelling place for Hashem, he starts with Meidani. The same thing we find in the building of the Mishkan. We find that when the Moshe gave over to the Yidden the commandment of the Eibishter to build the Mishkan, the first thing it says is Moshe gathered all the Yidden. First he should have gathered all the 20-year-olds. and tell them to bring the Teruma Sa'adanim, which was the first thing, which was the base, the foundation. And then to gather all of the Yidden, including the women, and to command them on the rest of the building of the Mishkan. Ella, Shahak this gathering, Hoya b'shvil le'oirer es b'chinis etzem ha'neshama sheyeshna b'kalechat b'nei Yisrael b'shava. When Moshe gathers, Vayakel Moshe es kol hadas b'nei Yisrael, he's gathering them for the purpose of awakening the etzem ha'neshama that every Yid has equally. V'lachin hikil Moshe es kol hadas b'nei Yisrael. Gam nashim etaf, and therefore Moshe gathered all the Yidden. B'chdi le'oirer es etzem ha'neshama sheb'kalechat b'nei Yisrael, in order to awaken within them the etzem ha'neshama which is equal in all Yidden. Once he awakened within them the Etzem and Neshama, then he was able to command them with regards to the building of the Mishkan. So that way, when they engage in Teruma Sa'adanim, which is Aveda Pnimis, he should feel this Kabbalas Oil and Bittul. And then from there to be able to collect the general donations for the Mishkan, which was also in a certain sense connected to the Etzem and Neshama, because it included everyone, even the Nashim and the Taf. So in the building of the Mishkan, where do we see the Maidani? Where do we see that he generated the Bittul and the Kabbalah Se'um, the Etzem and Neshama? That was in the Vayakel Moshe. Moshe gathered all the Yidden, and he awakened within them the Etzem and Neshama. Then he was able to go to Teruma Sa'adanim, which is Aveda B'Keiches Pnimiyim, with the Bittul and Kabbalas Oil that came earlier, and that leads them to the Teruma Mishkan, which is the Aveda of Didei B'Tachteinim. And the same thing happens in every generation. The awakening of the Etzem and Neshama that comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. These pashtusa the Moshe b'chol dara v'dara, and every day there's an extension of Moshe Rabbeinu. Nasi Yisrael shein b'chinas ha'reish v'ameichen shel b'nei Yisrael shebedeir, the Nasi Yisrael, the Rebbe, who is the Reish and the Mayach, the head and the mind of all the Yidden in the Deir. He is the one who awakens in every Yid. He's Etzem and Neshama, with the Kayach of the fact that the Rebbe awakens within us. The Etzem and Neshama, Yachol Kolechad Vechad B'Avedasa the Keiches Pnimiyim Shalei, each person could utilize his internal, his personal Keiches. B'Krishma Tefillah, through Krishma and in his davening and in his Krishma. Then he carries this into his Aveda of learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. And knowing Hashem in every aspect of his day. And this leads, this brings that the person could make a dira, a dwelling place for Hashem in the B'Tachteinim, which is the purpose of why we're here. So it all originates from the Vayakel Moshe, it all originates from the Kayach that we get from Moshe Rabbeinu, who awakens the Etzem and Neshama, which gives us Kayachas to engage in Kiddush Tefillah, which gives us Kayachas to engage in Limudat Torah v'Kiyam mitzvahs, which gives us Kayachas to be able to go in to the rest of the day and utilize our every step of the day to make a dira for the Eibishter B'Tachteinim here in this world.